Welcome back to today's Explainer. We spend a lot of time analyzing complex data and intricate systems, but today we're going to look at something universally understood, yet incredibly profound: the sheer, unbreakable force of loyalty. We're unpacking a story that recently surfaced, one that just perfectly captures the incredible bond between humans and animals. We're talking about Charlie, a little beagle, and his stubborn 3-month vigil outside an empty house. If you've ever wondered just how deeply animals process absence, memory, and devotion, well, this explainer is going to lay it all out for you. So let's jump right in.
Okay, picture this. Every single morning, absolutely without fail, this small beagle named Charlie sits outside the exact same house, and the house is completely empty. There's no activity, no lights turning on, literally no one coming in or out. And yet, there he is, just planted on the front porch, staring at a locked front door. Now, this isn't just a dog taking a nap on a familiar porch. This is a deliberate, highly focused vigil. It presents a really fascinating behavioral puzzle for us. Why won't Charlie leave? What is keeping him completely tethered to this specific inactive location? To figure this out, we've got to look closely at the heartbreaking details of his daily routine. Section 1, the stubborn little beagle. For almost 3 months, Charlie maintained this definitive, heartbreaking cycle of refusal. Neighbors, of course, naturally tried to intervene. They tried taking him to their own homes to give him some shelter and warmth, but somehow, defying all logic, he always escaped their secure backyards just to return to this cold, empty porch. Step 1, he wouldn't eat. Step 2, he wouldn't play. Step 3, he wouldn't leave. Now, when we analyze animal behavior, eating and playing are your core indicators of health and baseline psychological well-being. By entirely refusing these basic instincts, Charlie's actions elevate from just a mere habit to a state of active, prolonged mourning. He was on a singular mission, and absolutely nothing was going to distract him. Section 2, a clue under the door. So, the stalemate of Charlie's routine was finally broken on one particularly cold morning. A neighbor named Sarah, who had been watching this heartbreaking cycle and just couldn't bear it any longer, decided to step in. She approaches the porch, bringing him some food, but when she offers it, there's a sudden change in routine. Instead of just sitting there like he always did, Charlie stands up, walks directly toward the house, and starts desperately scratching at the front door. It was almost as if Sarah's presence prompted him to say, "Hey, look right here." And when Sarah looked closely at exactly where he was scratching, she noticed something she had completely missed before. Wedged super tightly underneath the door was a tiny envelope. Sarah picks up this tiny envelope, and written across the front of it are 4, honestly, devastatingly simple words. For Charlie. Don't forget. I mean, just think about the weight of that instruction for a second. It is a direct command to remember, left right there as a physical artifact. It strongly suggests that whoever left it knew a separation was coming, and they wanted to leave tangible evidence that this dog was loved, and definitely not abandoned by choice. So Sarah opens the envelope, and inside, she doesn't find a letter or a legal document or anything like that. She finds an old photograph of Charlie with an elderly man. This right here is the visual clue that finally connects the present-day mystery of this waiting dog directly to his past. The man in the photograph, he's the whole reason for the 90-day vigil. It's a snapshot of a bond that clearly meant the world to both of them. But it's what is written on the other side of this photograph that actually explains everything. The crucial point here is the quote on the back of the picture. It's a handwritten message that simply reads, "I'll come home soon, buddy." It's a promise made by a man to his absolute best friend. And for 3 entire months, Charlie had been holding him to it. He was sitting at that door simply because he was told his person would come home. You have to remember, dogs don't understand the complex reasons why a human might break a promise. They only understand loyalty. Section 3, the hidden truth. Armed with this photograph and the name Charlie, Sarah gets to work and contacts the elderly man's family, finally uncovering the timeline of a completely tragic miscommunication. It started weeks ago when Robert, an elderly veteran, suddenly fell seriously ill. Due to how severe the illness was, Robert was abruptly taken from his home and moved to a care facility. But because of the pure chaos of a medical emergency, there was this massive disconnect. No one thought to properly manage the dog's transition. Literally nobody told Charlie where Robert went or why he couldn't come back. So for 3 agonizing months, Charlie just waits. Which leads us to today. Sarah discovers the photo, pieces the whole timeline together, and uncovers the exact location of Robert's care facility. Section 4, an emotional reunion.
Once the truth was out, Sarah didn't just solve the mystery, she basically facilitated the entire solution. She helped the family coordinate a visit, and that very weekend they brought Charlie in. Picture the doors of the facility opening. The very second Robert sees his dog after months of forced separation and illness, his eyes immediately fill with tears. And Charlie, the dog who wouldn't eat, wouldn't play, and wouldn't leave an empty porch, he sprinted forward, jumped directly into Robert's lap, and utterly refused to let go. It was just this profound release of 3 months of anxiety, waiting, and stubborn devotion, all finally resolved in a single moment of physical connection.
In that embrace, Robert whispered just a few words. "You found me, buddy." Hearing those words, Charlie just kind of sighed and rested his head right on Robert's chest. The promise written on the back of that photograph, "I'll come home soon," well, it couldn't be kept in the way Robert originally intended. He couldn't physically return to the house. But through the sheer stubbornness of a little beagle and the incredible kindness of a neighbor, Charlie found his home anyway. Actually, scratch that. His home was never the house. His home was Robert.
A loyal dog may forget many things, but he never forgets his person. This story really forces us to pause and look at the sheer depth of emotional intelligence in animals. We've seen the heartbreak of his routine, the tragedy of the separation.